Timothee Chalamet Wonka has strong box office start, still trailing Depp though. Timothee Chalamet is on his way to #1 at the box office this weekend with his new Wonka movie, and while the figures so far are impressive, Johnny Depp still reigns supreme. The first day numbers are in for Timmy's latest flick, and they're quite solid heading into the weekend and promise to see him and WB raking in somewhere between $35 to $40 million domestically by the time Sunday rolls around. Between Thursday previews and Friday's full day of showings, Wonka has earned about $14.4 million thus far, which again puts the family-friendly film well ahead of the competition. Frankly, there isn't much standing in its way, just a bunch of indie films and leftovers from weeks prior, so Tim has a relatively clear path to dominate ticket sales. Of course, some wanted to see how he'd fare compared to the old Wonka movies, specifically against Johnny's version from back in the 2000s, the most recent iteration. Perhaps unsurprisingly, TC's numbers don't hold a candle to Johnny and Tim Burton. First day numbers for Johnny's movie were about $20 million at the time, and through the weekend about $56 million. Through its entire theatrical run, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory with Johnny Depp hauled in more than $206 million. In other words, Johnny's Wonka is still king in terms of cold hard cash, and even critically, it held its own in the reviews. Same goes for Timothy, by the way. His latest Wonka flick has a respectable 84% on Rotten Tomatoes, similar to Johnny Depp's 83%. Now, there is context for why Tim's box office numbers might not be as strong. Fact is, people just aren't going to the movies the way they used to, so all things considered, the Wonka haul is actually pretty dang good in the modern era, especially in this economy. Oh, and if you're wondering where the OG Willy Wonka, Gene Wilder, fits into this whole box office juxtaposition, his 1971 version didn't do all that great at the box office at the time. It only made about $4 million domestically, which is about $22 million today adjusted for inflation. Of course, it's arguably the most beloved Wonka there is.